Hey y'all, Jen Hernandez, Loan with Jen. So everything or most of what you've heard about credit inquiries is a complete myth. So I've closed over 3,500 loans in my 24-year career. We pull, as to date, we pull almost 50 credit reports a month. You want to stay tuned because I know credit. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, listen, like, share, and subscribe, and comment on this video if you get a lot of use of it, okay? So here we go. Credit inquiries, there's lots of information out there. I'm gonna point you to the number one, the very first thing that you should do is go to this website. It is myfico.com. It's on the screen here at myfico.com. It is the very best source of information. I actually have it pulled up on my screen, so we're seeing it here. Now, there's a tab called Education, and that's where you want to go. And there's videos, there's content, there's history of FICO scores. I'm just going to walk you through the bullet points in this video, so hang in there with me. This is a slightly longer video than I normally do, but you want to watch every single minute. I'm going to save you hours of research online, okay? So stay with me. So FICO stands for Fair Isaac Credit Corporation. They actually were in the early 50s. FICO was developed. It was a company that was doing data analytics, and Experian and TransUnion and Equifax had just formed. They were trying to get transparency and be congruent about their data. They wanted to try to all be the same. Back then, remember, there weren't computers in the 1950s. So they said, hey, there's this company called Fair Isaac, and they analyze data. Why don't we use them to come up with a model that we can use to simulate some kind of a scoring for people? So bam, FICO was introduced into the market as far as credit. So you can read that all on their website. It's super, super interesting. Now, fast forward to, the 2000s. We're in the 21st century. Now everything is based on your credit. Like, you cannot get a loan for the most part without having some kind of a credit score, okay? It's tied to everything. So when you inquire on your credit, here is a super, super fact that no one will tell you, but myfico.com will definitely tell you this. Did you know that there are 25 different models or more likely of credit algorithms that FICO actually has? So FICO is just a system to calculate credit. It's used by 90% of the lenders, not all of them, but most of the lenders, okay? So that being said, it's important to know how FICO works. There's 25-ish number of models for credit. So the biggest question that I get from people that call me for a loan is, hey, I saw online that my credit score is 720. And I ask them where they got the credit score. Oh, great. Tell me where you got the credit score. And they say, I went to Equifax, or my credit card, XYZ credit card gives me the credit score, or Credit Karma. A lot of people use Credit Karma. It is possibly very true that your credit score on those modeling systems is 720. However, when we pull the credit, the mortgage company, we have to all subscribe to the same credit scoring model if we're going to sell the loan to FHA, Fannie Mae, or Freddie Mac, which 90% of the loans go to those, conform with those institutions. So I'm going to take a quick pause, and I think it's super, super important that you get this one thing. Lenders have to all conform to the same strategy. Otherwise, we can't sell the loans to each other. And that's how the world works. That's how the loans work. So it's important for you to understand that while you get your score somewhere else with some service that you subscribe to, that's fantastic for knowing your credit health. When you are applying for a loan, you have to expect 100% without a doubt that your credit score will be different. It might be just a few points. I've seen it as much as 70 to 80 points different, higher and lower. There's no formula that tells me how off it's going to be. The reason is that the component of the credit score, and again, I'm going to point you to myfico.com. All this information is really great on their website. And by the way, I'm not being paid by myFICO, okay? They do not even know that I exist. I just think it's a great information, and I believe in bringing you the very best information. So in the credit score algorithm that's computed with your data, it weighs revolving credit the highest. That's 30 to 35% of your score is what percent utilization your credit card is. Each individual credit card, not cumulative. So if you're almost maxed out, your credit score is going to be lower. Age of your debt is a big one. Number of credit inquiries, believe it or not, is only 10% of your score. So we're going to make the most important point, number 2, is that your credit likely will not dive from a credit score inquiry. This is super, super important. This is the number one reason why consumers do not apply for a mortgage loan until they're ready and they've already found a house, which is dangerous. So for our scoring model, I don't know about the other ones. Remember, there's 25-ish or so different scoring models out there. But for the ones that mortgage companies use, when you pull your credit, your score from that inquiry is not affected for 45 days. Once we pull your credit, that credit report is good for 4 months, 120 days. So we likely won't have to pull it again unless you buy a house, 5-6 months down the road, which is fine. So the credit score is pulled. You have a 45-day window to also shop for a loan. You have a 45-day window. It used to be 30, and in some credit modeling systems, remember I said some credit modeling systems, it's 30, but in the newer versions, I actually read and learned this for myself recently, that it is 45. And so you can find that on myfico.com as well. So for 45 days, all inquiries from a mortgage company count as one, and furthermore, your credit score is not affected for 45 days. Now here's a third truth about credit. All the other things that you're doing with your credit might affect your score, not the inquiry. So a benefit of you pulling your score now with a mortgage company is that we can get your baseline and make sure that you're in the very best spot to buy the house. The goal on my team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage is that you have the very best rate available to you, and sometimes that means we have to tweak some things. So the truth about that is that it might take 2 or 3 months to get those things tweaked. Pay off a couple of things over here, get your percent utilization down. There could be an error on your credit, like a $30 collection that showed up, and you have to take care of it and get it deleted from your credit report. Sometimes those things take time. And so my suggestion to you is that you have your credit report pulled by a lender 4 to 6 months before you are buying a house, okay? You're probably wondering, hey, Jen, you said that a credit report's only good for 4 months. Yes, that's true. If you pull your credit now and then we pull it again 6 or 7 months later when you're actually buying, not to worry. Remember that inquiries are only 10% of your score. But I'm going to have advised you at our consultation the things to keep, start, and stop doing. That's how I work. I'm super transparent and super upfront with the clients that consult with us, and you're going to gain more information from knowing what your credit is so you can be informed and empowered on the very best terms that are going to be available to you. So I know that this has been a long video. I really appreciate you hanging in there with me. So I'm just going to repeat for you a couple of really important things. Okay, we're just going to bullet them here. Number one, there's many models, over 25 different models currently of credit scoring formulas. Mortgage companies all use the same one. So unless you've pulled your credit score with a mortgage company, the score that you think that you have might not be accurate when you're buying a home. Number two, credit inquiries within a 45-day period count as one. And your credit score is not affected for 45 days, okay? And inquiries are only 10% of your score, so that's super important. And number 3, the truth about credit is that it is more beneficial for you to find out now 4 to 6 months ahead of time what your score is, so that you can plan ahead and be empowered at the choices for you while you're buying the house. So that's what I've got for you today. Remember to go to myfico.com. That is the very best website, in my professional opinion, of where to get your credit score, okay? To get the very best information. They're not trying to sell you anything. They're trying to empower you with information, okay? So another thing that we run into a lot, everybody, is we hear a lot of people that say, I don't want to pull my credit with another mortgage company. Number one, because I think it's going to lower my score, which is not accurate if you're within a 45-day window. But number two, obtaining that score allows you to really, truly, accurately shop with lenders for your mortgage rate. So make sure that who you pull your credit with, ask them what your credit score is, know the 3 scores. And an interesting, important point to know is that of the 2 borrowers, if there's 2 of you, the lower middle credit score of the both of you is what drives the pricing. So I'm going to repeat that. It's super important. If there are 2 or more borrowers, the lower credit score drives the transaction. So that's what drives the pricing. Okay? In fact, I just talked to someone this morning, and one spouse's credit score was higher than the other. And so we're deleting the husband. His credit score was 100 points lower than her score was. They qualified with just her income, and so we put a package together that was more favorable to them. So that's something that you can do as well. So it's really important to be empowered with that score, so that a mortgage company score. Remember, your Credit Karma and your Equifax and all those other scores, your credit card company giving you a score, is different and is not going to mean anything to a mortgage lender, to be honest with you. So I hope that helps you as well. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe so that you're in tune to our other videos. We release 2 videos a week. We want to empower the customer, the buyer, the seller, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Legacy Mutual Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity lender. The opinions expressed here do not reflect those of Legacy Mutual Mortgage.